Philip Riding joined us from St Andrews, Scotland. He's a former Army officer and now political risk analyst with Sibylline. Thank you for joining us on the program. Give us some background here first on who Rimi was and what was his role in Al-Qaeda.
Qasim al Rimi had been the leader of Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula since 2015, when the US killed his predecessor, a man called Nasir al-Wahishi. But really, al-Rami's background as a jihadist has its roots in the 1990s, when he was effectively radicalized and trained by Al-Qaeda in Yemen. And at that time, the group had relative freedom to operate in the country due to its recent unification, which took place in 1990, which sort of united republics of northern and southern Yemen. So he's really been with the organization for a very long time. And I'm sure if many of you, certainly your American listeners, will be aware that in 2000, the profile of Al-Qaeda in Yemen was particularly high as a consequence of the attack on the USS Cole. And many of the individuals associated with Al-Qaeda cells in Yemen, including al-Raymi, went on to be very prominent over the course of the next decade following 9/11. And really probably you'd say the high point, or indeed low point, for Al-Qaeda in Yemen, Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, was really from sort of 2009 to 2012, when the group was able to come up with some quite innovative approaches to attacking Western targets. You might remember the underwear bomber who was apprehended on a flight coming into Detroit. There was attempts to target Jewish communities with bombs hidden in printer cartridges, and then also in 2012. An incident where the CIA effectively found a device that was intended to be placed on an airliner. And all of these were kind of initiatives that were successfully done by al-Raymi and his associates in Yemen.
Okay, so how significant of a blow is this to Al-Qaeda? And won't someone else just take his place?
Yeah, I think that will be very much the case. As I described a moment ago, al-Raymi himself came to lead AQAP as a consequence of his predecessor being killed by the US, and I suspect very much that the same thing will happen this time. I think what's important to note, really, in the context of what this means for the threat to the West, is that really AQAP's focus has been on Yemen since the start of the civil war there in 2015. So not only will al-Raymi's death not have a drastic effect on threats to Western nationals or targets in the West, but in particular, the AQAP's ability will be dictated by what happens in Yemen, really, rather than how many leaders the US or how many leaders of the organization the US may kill at any one time or another.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Philip Riding, thank you.
Thank you.